Good morning, dear students. So today we will continue chapter number 7, Amazing Animals. So we have discussed different types of animals that live in different habitats. Different habitats are forest, desert, polar region and high mountains, oceans and fresh water. And different animals live in different habitats. And we were doing adaptations in animals. So adaptations are changes in the body organs, functions, features or behavior of an organism that help it to survive in its habitat. And we have discussed adaptations in their body coverings. So let's do adaptations in feeding habits. So students, we eat food to get energy. Similarly, animals eat food to get energy and stay healthy. And different animals have different feeding habits. Like some eat plants and some animals eat flesh of other animals and some animals eat both plants as well as animals. So based on these, we have divided animals into three types: herbivores, carnivores and omnivores. So what are herbivores animals? The animals that eat only plants, that are called herbivorous animals. For example, cow, buffalo, giraffe, goat, all these are herbivorous animals and they have sharp front teeth to cut the parts of the plant and flat back teeth to grind their food. And next is carnivores. So the animals that eat flesh of other animals that are called carnivorous animals. For example, lions, tigers, wolves, all these are carnivores and they have very sharp pointed canines to tear the flesh and strong back teeth to chew the flesh and bones. Some birds like eagle, kites and vultures, they have sharp and hooked beak with the help of which they can tear the flesh of other animals and they have strong claws to catch their prey. And the next is omnivorous animals. So the animals that eat both plants as well as flesh of other animals, that are called omnivorous animals. For example, human beings, bear, crow, all these are omnivorous animals. And next is organs for breathing. Now students, let us discuss different organs used by different animals for breathing, right? So students, why do we need to breathe? We need to breathe to get oxygen. And where do this oxygen is used? This oxygen is used to produce energy within the animal's body, right? And this energy is used by all the animals in doing all the activities. So different animals use different organs for breathing. Like tiny organisms like amoeba and paramecium. So how do they breathe? They breathe through their body surfaces. They taking oxygen through the body surfaces. And what about insects? So how do they breathe? They have to breathe through the tiny holes which are present on their body. And these tiny holes are also called spiracles. Once the air gets in these spiracles, then it reaches all the parts of the body through the small tubes, and these small tubes are called breathing tubes. So students, next is aquatic animals. So what are aquatic animals? So the animals that live in water, that are called aquatic animals. For example, fish, crab, prawn, all these live in water. So we will say they are aquatic animals. So how do they breathe? They breathe through their gills, right? So they take in water through their mouth and passes through the gills, where they absorb oxygen and expel carbon dioxide. And next is adult frog and earthworm. So they breathe through the moist skin. When adult frog is in water, then they breathe through their moist skin. But when this frog is on the land, then they breathe through their lungs. So next is mammals. Mammals like human beings, birds, reptiles, whale, dolphins, amphibians which live in water as well as on the land, they are called amphibians. So how do they breathe? They breathe through their lungs, right? They breathe through their lungs. So they have lungs which are connected by windpipe, and when air reaches to the lungs, then they take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide which are breathed out by nostrils, right? So these are the different organs used by different animals for breathing. Now students, let us talk about different organs used by different animals for movement. So students, animals move from place to place in search of food, shelter and to escape from their enemies. So let us talk about land animals. So the land animals are those animals that live on land and they move with the help of legs. Most animals have 4 legs, 2 in front that are called forelimbs and 2 at the back that are called hind limbs. So some animals like dogs, cats and tigers, they move with all the 4 legs, but human beings use only their hind limbs. They use their legs to move. Their 4 limbs or hand can hold many things and help to do work. But reptiles like lizards, crocodiles, tortoises, they crawl on the land with the help of their short legs. The snakes also live on the land, but they have no legs. They move with the help of their body scales. And what about water animals? The animals that live in water, that are called water animals, like fishes. So the fish move with the help of their fins. But frogs and ducks, they use their webbed feet to swim. Turtles have 4 paddle-like limbs to push the water back and move forward. And animals like penguins and seals, they swim in the water with the help of flippers. Now let us talk about birds. So how do they move? So students, birds can fly with the help of their wings, right? They use their strong wings, or we can say modified forelimbs. They have lighter body, so they can fly with the help of their forelimbs. And they use their legs to perch on the branches of the trees, and they use their legs to hop and walk on the ground. But some birds like emu, ostrich, penguin, they cannot fly because they have heavy bodies and they have weak wings. Now let us talk about movement in insects. So they have 6 legs for movement. Insects like ants, cockroaches and bugs, they crawl on their legs. Some insects like grasshoppers, they use their legs in hopping. And insects like water boatmen, they swim in water with the legs. Insects like butterfly and firefly, they have wings with the help of which they can fly. Now students, let us talk about migration. So migration is the movement of the animals from one place to another in response to climatic changes, right? Every year, birds and animals move from one place to another to avoid harsh environmental conditions in search of food and to reach the breeding ground, right? The bird Arctic tern, they make the longest distance, about 40,000 kilometers every winter, from Arctic Circle to Antarctic Circle. And the Siberian crane and mallard duck comes to the India every year. The fish salmon, they also travel long distance to lay eggs. Some insects like locust and monarch butterflies, they also migrate long distances. Monarch butterflies, they travel from Canada to Mexico during winters and come back in the summers. So students, this is about your chapter number 7, Amazing Animals. So read the chapter from your textbook. Thank you students.